This video is sponsored by Logitech. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alicia, and for today's video I'm going to be talking all about this thing behind me. I'm going to be sharing some simple yet effective tips on how you can enhance your workspace to make it more productivity focused, minimize those distractions, and help you get your work done. If you implement any of these tips, then let me know in the comments, and also tag me on Instagram. Share with me your workspace because I would love to see it. With that being said, let's hop into the video. My first tip is super simple, and that is to keep it simple, because in this case, less is definitely more. The easiest way to do this is probably just to keep the things on top of your desk to a minimum. I have a one device, one decorative rule. So I only really keep my laptop and my monitor on the table, and then I have maybe one plant and like a pen stand. Now, don't get me wrong, I do love having all my work spread out. I do take up a lot of space on the desk, but for the most part, when you're not working on a specific task, you want to keep your things on your desk to a minimum. Try to keep it as empty as possible. The more white space, the better. And then when you decide you want to focus on a specific task, then you can bring out those resources that you need for that. That only won't just help with minimizing distractions, but it'll also help you to know what you have to focus on in that moment. So maybe, for example, if I'm studying histology, then I just bring out all my histology resources rather than having like all my other subject stuff on the table as well. It kind of gets distracting and just takes up a lot of room, honestly. What I do is I have a little box next to my table, so I don't actually keep it on my table, but in this box I keep all of my books. So I have my textbooks, any folders, prac books, and then whenever I need a specific one, I'll just take it out and use it as necessary. But for the most part, this has dramatically reduced in size ever since I started using my digital setup in terms of my iPad and my laptop and stuff. So in reality, I don't really need that much stuff on my table. In terms of stationery, I just have like one pen, and then with the Tombow markers, that's kind of just decorative for videos, to be completely honest. One thing I found super helpful as well was to clean my desk the night before. So if you're anything like me and have a lot of stuff just hanging around by the end of the night when you finish studying, don't leave it there. Actually pack it up and clear your desk so that when you come back to work the next day, it is nice and clean, and it sort of gives you like that fresh start, clear mindset, and helps you to focus better. The next thing that I think is really crucial to a workspace is having good lighting. I prefer to sit next to a window just because you have like a view to look out at, even if it's nothing special. Just natural light coming in can be really good for the soul. But if you don't have a window you can put your desk next to, then you can always get a lamp or some sort of light just to not put so much strain on your eyes. But yes, a window is always great because then you can even open the window, get some fresh air, especially if you're going to be sitting behind a desk for a long amount of time with like online school and stuff. That's what I found has really helped me to keep me sane. And then with decorating your area, again, you don't want to put too much stuff just because you don't want it to be cluttered, but something that I think helps a lot is to add some plants, because it really brings in like nature, even if it's fake plants like all of mine. Just the green color adds some vibrance to your space and bring some life. Ideally, having some real plants would be cool, but I can't take care of real plants, so fake plants it is. But that can help to spice up your area. So the next few tips are centered around that giant thing on the side of my table, which, if it wasn't obvious already, it is a monitor. I got this pretty recently, a couple months ago, and I've benefited from it so much, having that extra screen real estate, because if I'm doing research or even just with like online school, having a lot of lectures to watch and doing my notes digitally now, it's great to have like two screens, because one screen I will normally put my notes, and then the other screen I will put up the lecture recording. In terms of my setup, I have this 32-inch monitor. It's a curved one, which I think is pretty cool. And the mouse that I have is the Logitech MX Anywhere 3 mouse. That brings me to the sponsor of this video, which is Logitech. I actually had this mouse before, but the second version, and this is just the new updated one. But this mouse is super easy to use. The best thing about it is that it's wireless. You don't even need batteries. You can just use a USB-C cable and it will charge pretty quickly. It works across multiple devices, so I'm using it here on my laptop, which is connected to my monitor, and it keeps up with my workflow, helps me to work faster, It's got super fast and controlled scrolling, and also it's very pretty. Like, I got it in the rose pink color. You can also get it in pale gray and graphite. I previously had the graphite one, but I decided to spice it up, and this color actually matches my mouse pad, which is like the cherry on top. But this mouse has been super helpful to enhance my monitor setup. It's super comfortable to use. It's really small, so it's like portable, and also it performs really well when you connect it to your laptop. So if you're anything like myself and you have a lot of online classes, you spend a lot of time on your computer scrolling, watching those lectures, going through your notes, or even just like scrolling through Facebook. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can purchase one. This one again is the rose color of the Logitech MX Anywhere 3 mouse. Highly recommend. Allows you to get things done anywhere without sacrificing performance. So now that you've seen my monitor setup, I wanted to give another alternative to those who maybe don't have the space for a monitor, but you might have another device. So one thing I actually discovered quite recently is that if you have an external tablet, so like an iPad, you can use that as a monitor. If you go into your settings and click Sidecar, you can connect any of your tablet devices. So as you can see here, it comes up with my iPad, and look at that, it's an extra screen. Works exactly like a monitor. This is like super helpful if you need that extra screen real estate, but maybe you're not at home where your monitor is, or if you don't have one at all. But what I really like to do is have my lecture slides or my lecture recording on one screen, and then on my laptop I will be writing my notes, and that just saves you time with not having to like flip through the screens, or also not having to like half the screen amount if you were just using your laptop. The next addition to your workspace is a personal favorite of mine, and that is to put some motivational quotes or any goals that you're trying to achieve around your workspace. This is something really subtle, but I think it adds so much, because if you think about it, you're sitting at your desk all day, so you want to have something nice to look at. If your desk is maybe put up against a wall and you're kind of just staring at that all day, I would recommend you put some sort of quote, or you can put some sort of goal that you're trying to achieve, stick it right in front of your wall, because that's going to add so much motivation. Without even thinking about it, you're looking at that constantly, and that's going to hopefully enter your brain, and you'll work harder to achieve that goal because it's always in the back of your head. If you don't want to stick anything like permanent on the wall, something that I think is pretty funky is you can change your background to maybe one of your favorite quotes, or just like a pretty picture. The inbuilt wallpapers in the computer are pretty cool. I think they're really pretty. This is one of my personal favorites that I actually drew up, and it says, "You got this." I try to tell myself that all the time when I'm feeling like I'm not motivated. You would have seen this on my iPad. I put it on my monitor as well, just to show you here. If you want this background, I'll put it in the description for you to download, and we can be matching. Tag me on Instagram, because if we are twinning, then I would love to see it. I used to have that quote, "You've got this," on a frame. If you are a real OG, you would have remembered. This used to be my desk, but I took it off because, again, trying to declutter the space, so I just put it as a laptop background for now. The final thing is using the Stickies app on your computer. If you search up Stickies, there's an inbuilt application you can use, and I use this to write out all my to-do lists or tasks that I have to do per subject, or even just like writing my schedule down on it sometimes helps. Open up the app, you can create a new note. So something that I did was created a new one for each subject, and then under that I'll just write every single task that I have to do for that subject in that week. And that really helps you to remind yourself of things you need to complete. If you have like live classes scheduled, writing that down helps you to remember, because it can be really easy to forget. But you can do that, color code it to your heart's content. Mine just matches the color of my folder for that subject. And then another thing you could also do is probably write out your daily schedule on a separate sticky note, and then just delete the tasks as you complete it, or you can just leave it there. I usually keep it on the monitor side of my setup rather than on the laptop itself, just because the monitor's a lot bigger, but that also looks really cool when it's sitting on your desktop. And that's pretty much everything to do with my setup. Those are some tips to help you enhance your productivity. Some of them are more subtle than the others. You don't have to implement all of them, but these are just some things that have helped me to make my space look nice, but also make sure it's effective, because at the end of the day, having a good workflow and a good environment really sets the tone for how you're going to work for that day. So that's why I like to put in a little bit of extra effort to make it look nice and also make sure that I'm comfortable in the space. Personally, I think it's a good idea to have a dedicated area for where you do all of your work and try to keep it as separate as you can from other spaces. So like try not to work on your bed, because that can kind of just like mess up your sleep schedule and also just tells your brain that you want to go to sleep. I mean, I'm not complaining, but like if you want to be productive, it's probably not the best idea, but I do know that that's not feasible for everyone. So something you could do is probably go out to your local cafe, maybe put some noise cancelling headphones on and try and get some work done. But if not, the best thing to do is have a space with a table and a chair, because your posture will thank you later. And also I find you can focus a lot better if you're sitting upright rather than like lying on a couch or lying on your bed, for example. But with that being said, hopefully these tips helped you. If they did and you enjoyed this video, then please do give it a thumbs up, because it really supports my channel. Also be sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!